I still remember the first time I saw her. It was a cold morning in New York City, the kind where the wind slices through your coat and makes your coffee go cold before you even take a sip. I was standing outside my black sedan, parked just outside a small marketing agency in Brooklyn. My name is Daniel Cross, and at that moment, everyone believed I was just a chauffeur, just a regular guy driving clients to meetings. No one knew the truth, that I was the owner of a billion-dollar logistics empire. And this entire fake identity, it was all part of a test. I had grown tired of women chasing my money, tired of fake smiles, gold diggers, and shallow affection. So I left my mansion, stepped out of my Ferrari, and put on an old leather jacket to live like a working man. I wanted to see if real love could exist without luxury. That's when she stepped out of the building. Her name was Emily. She wore a plain white blouse, a long gray coat, and held a half-eaten bagel in one hand. She looked stressed, late, and completely unaware of the effect she had just had by walking by. "You're my ride?" she asked, her voice sharp, her tone impatient. "Yes, ma'am," I replied calmly, opening the back door. She slid in, tapping away on her phone, not even looking up. Over the next few weeks, I drove her almost every day. She worked in the creative department and often stayed late. Some days she was too tired to talk. Other days she couldn't stop talking about her clients, her boss, her dreams, and her frustrations. She had ambition, fire, and pain, the kind that shows in the way someone stares out the window in silence. One rainy night, as I was driving her home, the traffic was worse than usual. She sighed deeply. "You ever feel like you're meant for more, but the world keeps stepping on your throat?" I didn't answer right away. Then I said, "Every day." She looked up at the rearview mirror. For the first time, she really looked at me. I was the beginning. We started talking more. She started sitting in the front seat, brought me coffee sometimes, asked questions, shared memories. I never told her who I really was. I wanted to believe that if someone could love me as a driver, they truly loved me. Weeks turned into months. Our bond grew stronger, and one day she surprised me. "I think you're smarter than you let on, Daniel." I smiled. Maybe I just listened better than most. She laughed. It was the kind of laugh that made the cold world feel warm for a moment. Eventually, I confessed my feelings. We weren't rich. We didn't have much. But she said yes. We moved into a small apartment, shared bills, cooked dinner together. It felt real. It felt perfect. But perfect never lasts. As her career grew, she started to change. She got a raise, started working more directly with her boss, a man named Marcus Dean. Tall, charming, and loaded. She started coming home late, dressing differently, smelling of expensive perfume I never bought. And then one night, I saw it. A notification flashed on her phone. "Marcus, tonight was amazing. Can't wait to see you again." She said it was a joke. I pretended to believe her. But my heart knew, and my silence wasn't weakness. It was preparation. Because the world was about to find out that the quiet driver in the corner owned everything. Emily started spending more time at the office. At first, she said it was just extra work, new clients, tighter deadlines, bigger responsibilities. I believed her. But soon, the small signs grew bigger. She started hiding her phone when I walked into the room. She laughed at texts she wouldn't show me. Her tone changed. The warmth faded. The woman who once asked how my day was stopped asking. I began driving longer shifts just to avoid being home. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, but I didn't confront her, not yet. I wanted to be sure, not just of her lies, but of my strength to walk away when it was time. One night, she came home in a black luxury car. Not a taxi, not a rideshare, a sleek, matte black Range Rover. I stood at the window, watching her step out in heels I'd never seen before and a red dress too expensive for her paycheck. "Whose car is that?" I asked as she walked in. "Oh, just Marcus. He offered me a ride. It was raining." But it wasn't raining. I looked at her face, and for the first time, I saw a stranger. Emily used to hug me as soon as she got home. Now she walked right past me, pouring herself a glass of wine without even a glance. I should have said something, but I didn't. Because part of me still hoped she'd realize what she was doing. Part of me still believed she loved me. Then came the breaking point. One evening, I stopped by her office unannounced. I was supposed to be picking her up. She didn't know I was early. Through the glass walls, I saw them. Emily and Marcus. Close, laughing, her hand on his chest, his arm on her shoulder. It didn't look like business. I turned around and walked away. I didn't wait for her. I didn't call. I went straight home, packed a small bag, and checked into a hotel. That night, she didn't even ask where I was. The next morning, she texted, "I'm staying at the office tonight. Don't wait up." That was all I needed. My heart didn't break. It stopped waiting. That week, I reactivated my team, my assistants, my board members, my lawyers, everyone who knew me as Daniel Cross, CEO of Crossline Logistics, one of the fastest growing delivery networks in the U.S. No more pretending. While Emily was busy chasing her boss's attention, I was preparing a new investment. Guess where? Marcus Dean's agency. Because what Emily didn't know was that Marcus was drowning in debt, and I had just become his savior and silent owner. A week later, Emily came home and said something I'll never forget. "Marcus says I have the potential to lead a campaign in Europe next quarter. He believes in me." I smiled. "That's great. You must be proud." She didn't notice my tone. She didn't realize she was talking to the man who now owned the entire company she worked for. And soon, she was going to find out. Emily's confidence grew every day. She walked around the apartment like she owned the world. She no longer asked how I was doing. She no longer noticed when I left early or came home late. She thought I was still just a driver, working long hours to survive. But the truth was I was busy finalizing the acquisition of her agency. Marcus Dean's company had been struggling financially for months. He'd been hiding it behind fake numbers, investor delays, and flashy presentations. But the real books told a different story, a slow collapse. My lawyers made the deal quick, clean, silent. Within 3 weeks, I became the majority stakeholder in Dean & Rowe Marketing, the very agency where Emily worked. Marcus had no choice. He needed cash, and I had it. He didn't care who owned the shares. He just needed out. I didn't fire anyone. I didn't change the name. But from that moment on, every meeting Marcus scheduled, every campaign Emily worked on, every late-night dinner they shared, all happened under my payroll. I was done chasing truth. I was letting the truth chase her. One evening, Emily came home glowing. Her smile was wide, her eyes sparkling. She said, "Marcus wants me to pitch directly to the European board next month. He says I'm his rising star." I nodded slowly. "That's great. You must be proud." She didn't notice my tone. She didn't realize that she was talking to the man who now owned the entire company she worked for. And soon, she was going to find out. Emily's confidence grew every day. She walked around the apartment like she owned the world. She no longer asked how I was doing. She no longer noticed when I left early or came home late. She thought I was still just a driver, working long hours to survive. But the truth was I was busy finalizing the acquisition of her agency. Marcus Dean's company had been struggling financially for months. He'd been hiding it behind fake numbers, investor delays, and flashy presentations. But the real books told a different story, a slow collapse. My lawyers made the deal quick, clean, silent. Within 3 weeks, I became the majority stakeholder in Dean and Rowe Marketing, the very agency where Emily worked. Marcus had no choice. He needed cash, and I had it. He didn't care who owned the shares. He just needed out. I didn't fire anyone. I didn't change the name. But from that moment on, every meeting Marcus scheduled, every campaign Emily worked on, every late-night dinner they shared, all happened